And he said, why? Because the cultures are different. And we should understand that. Now let's look at the SEZ. Why did that succeed in China and why did it fail in India? You have to go back to history a little bit. When China was, of course, technically they were still independent, but slices of China in Shanghai, in places like that, were occupied by foreign powers, and they were, in effect, they were foreign territories. There was a German zone, there was a Japanese zone, there was an English zone, American zone, things like that, where only the laws of those countries will apply, not the Chinese law. Historically, so for example, if it is in the German zone, only German laws applied. None of the local laws applied. So they were familiar, they opposed that. They strongly opposed that. The moment communists took over power, they abolished that. But the fact was, they were familiar with a system that a part of your country can actually be outside your country for legal purposes, and it may work to the advantage, because those are still the most developed. Even today, if you look at, those are probably the most developed places in China. So they had this experience and they built on that. And then Taiwan, when Taiwan went away, Taiwan tried this special economic zone using or keeping this model, and they succeeded that. That is what the Chinese copied then. Now India, we had a very strong federal government. We had a very strong central government under the British, and they controlled all the laws and all that. You could say maybe Pondicherry or Goa were different, but there is no comparison with the British India's might and all that. So we had a strong system, and also the Britishers gave a bureaucracy which we made much, much worse. Don't worry about it. So whatever you do, they couldn't escape the Indian bureaucracy. They created a special economic zone. The bureaucracy went along with the special economic zone and started just introducing everything they had here also. What we tried to prevent, couldn't do that. That was the failure of that system. Anyway, I was one of those who had pointed out, look, it may not work. Why don't you try to liberalize the whole thing instead of doing that? But somehow it thought it was much easier to do it in small pockets. I agree, if you have tried that, that didn't work out. Today, I think we should try to liberalize the whole country rather than pockets. Thank you. I think we should end that. You have a question? Yeah, last question comes from Ramnath, and with that we will wind up. Thank you.
In many forums like this, I've been hearing for many years that we should improve our cultural or attitudinal towards, infrastructure. You talked about environment for entrepreneurship, etc. Now, yesterday when we were giving the Leadership Corporate CSR Award, there was a small talk by our past president about what constitutes, a corporate social responsibility. Do you think that we should wait for the society to change our attitude, or is it the reverse? You wanted to, put up a project. I'm asking whether you should take the initiative in changing that attitude, because society is not going to. I think it's the same atmosphere throughout India. Okay, because if you start putting up a new project, people would oppose it with all sorts of conflict. But what is it that you have in mind when you say that cultural or attitudinal changes have to happen? What in your opinion?
I think let's accept that we have had a long obsession with social justice. And yes, social justice is important. But I'll give you an example of the CMD of NALCO, who have a plant in Odisha, signed an MOU with the Secretary Industry Odisha and another MOU with Secretary Industry Gujarat. So in Odisha, the MOU says that 100% unskilled labor from local area, 80% semi-skilled, and 60% whatever. So after signing, he went to Gujarat and he found that there is no employment clause in the MOU. So he asked the secretary, how about employment? The secretary in Gujarat said, what employment? Now who should I employ? Now don't employ Pakistanis, that's all. So what we do is, we put too many conditions social conditions before the investor, that it is like giving a key to a new car, that please drive it, don't drive more than 40 kilometers, but get a mileage of 10 kilometers per liter. You can go left, but don't touch the bicyclists, they have first right of way. You can go right, but don't touch the hawkers because they have a right to sell on the road. But please reach the destination before 15 minutes. Now, if you have conditions put before the investment goes, so what we need, as you said, who can change it? We need more success stories. Don't lay any social conditions, allow investment to grow and see how it generates employment, how it generates opportunities for small businesses and how people benefit. And it has to be felt and experienced. Nobody can really ordain it that, thou shalt not, something like that.
What I believe is that, the maturity of the political leadership in the state, cutting across the, party to which these leaders belong, is very, very critical and important. Number one, see, I have had cases of conversations with leading industrialists in Kerala. The incremental investment of these leading industrialists, of course, our Synthite leader is here, but apart from that, there are instances of incremental investments going to Tamil Nadu, of people who are from Kerala, who have made their initial investment in Kerala, incremental investment is going there. Why? Because, in fact, I spoke to one of the most prominent, I don't want to name him, just before a day of the Kerala budget presentation, asked him what is his view, because I was a panelist on a TV, Manorama TV, so I want to get a sense. He said, see, and this is, somebody who is very well known. He said, Hartal, for instance, if you take, you don't know whether there will be a Hartal. And believe me, on the day after the budget presented, there was no budget which was presented, as you know, in Kerala Assembly. The next day, there was a Hartal. Now, no other state, you go to Delhi on a national Hartal day where, it's an all India Bandh. Life goes on as usual. In Mumbai, life goes on as usual. Madras, Chennai, life goes on as usual. Whereas here, 2 days, 3 days in advance itself, preparations start for, hiring of CDs or VDs and buying of bottles and, celebrating a Hartal. How can any entrepreneur, I am saying, anybody, think of running an industry or a unit in the... This is what I meant. And for the... How to change it is, now I find realism coming back to that leadership, and for that, I am not a Congress supporter, but I believe Oommen Chandy, the CM, that kind of practical thinking which he has brought about. This Adani project is a grand example of a political leader in Kerala standing up to opposition and saying that this is needed in the interest of the state. Rightly or wrongly, he has also gone on record for multi-storied buildings. I'm not getting into the, firehouse. I don't know about Fire Force laws, Jacob Thomas, the controversy. But he said, everybody is trying to go up. Are we to go down? And coupled with that, Deng Xiaoping's dictum that if we are practical, as long as the cat is, whether the cat is black or white, it should catch the mice. If that is accepted by the left and the right and the center or whatever, then I think that would be the first step. That has to come from the leadership. That is what you see. Narendra Modi, for whatever people may say about his politics, on development, I don't think anybody can fault him for his vision of development. That kind of vision is coming up, but we need more, a brighter sense of that vision from Kerala. That's what I mean.
I'll just add to that. You should really diagnose this properly. You should know the illness before you prescribe a treatment. I've been in government and in the state for a very long time. I try to understand what exactly is the problem. As many people say that we are against industry. Many people say that we are against projects. Many people say we are against manufacturing. The fact is, it's not like we are not against industry, we are not against manufacturing, we are not against project, but there's a real problem. We are against anybody making a profit. We don't want anybody to make money. Now, that is a problem. Nobody wants to say it openly. So that because you can't say that openly, I will come out with environmental, I will come out with human rights, I will come out with what is atmospheric pollution and UN bylaws and Kyoto Protocol and all kinds of things. The fact is, I just can't digest you making some money, Ramnath. That is my problem. That's the problem with the Malayalis. Say that openly. In every forum you say that. You said what is the remedy for that? What is the solution? Say that openly. Put it in your Facebook, put it in your social media, put it in the media. In every forum say that, look, this is your problem. Unless you change it, we are not getting it. But don't stop your project. Go ahead with the project. Thank you very much. Thank you for it.
Thank you, sir. So now I would request the chairman of the session, Shri T.Balakrishnan, to present mementos to our wonderful panelists here. Can we please? To Shri Santhosh Kumar Mohapathra, Director and CEO of Adani Vizhingam Port. To Shri Arun Misra, Managing Director of Tata Steel. Memento to Shri Adikesavan, CGM of State Bank of Travancore. And finally to Shri Sandeep Unnithan, Deputy Editor, India Today, Delhi. And now I would request Shri Suresh Babu, Past President of TMA and Managing Director of Vizhingam Island, Vizhingam International Seaport, to present the memento to Shri T. Balakrishnan. Thank you, sirs. Thank you once again.